This week I've really been thinking a lot about Psalm chapter 51. In Psalm 51, we find David in this very repentant state. And usually when we find David in the Bible, King David is like, man, he's the man. You want to be like him. But in Psalm 51, he is recovering from some serious sin in his life. And he's talking to God about that sin. And he's asking for forgiveness. And I've really been thinking a lot about forgiveness this week and thinking about how when it comes to forgiveness and we need it, we think it's a great idea. But when we need to give it, not so much. And that's really not what Christ calls us to. He calls us even to love our enemies. And so he tells us to forgive those who sin against us. And so in Psalm 51, David he's pleading with God and he says, have mercy on me, O God. And he says, according to your unfailing love, he asks God to forgive him. And then he says, blot out my transgressions. Let's stop and think about that for a minute. Like David is asking God to blot out his transgressions. Don't just forgive me, God, but blot them out of your memory. Make it to where you can't see them anymore. And I think there's a lesson for us as followers of Christ. If we're gonna show that we love God with all our heart, all our mind, and all our soul, the way to do that is to love our neighbor as ourselves, and really is to treat them like we want God to treat us or how God treats us. So that means not only should we forgive people who sin against us, we should work really hard at blotting that sin out of our minds. It's not uncommon for me as a pastor to encounter people all the time who say, oh, well, I forgive them. But I can sense in the tone of their voice that they haven't really forgiven. And if they have, they certainly haven't blotted it out of their minds. So they find themselves in this very bitter place that they don't even realize they're in. I want to encourage you this week, if somebody, or not if, but when somebody sins against you, not only forgive them, go the extra mile and blot that sin out of your memory. You'll be better if you do, and your relationships will be deeper and stronger, and you might find that there is a wellspring of life coming out of you because you're not allowing a deep, dark place of death to exist in you. Look outside yourself, find somebody that needs to be forgiven, and don't only forgive them, blot it out of your memory. Have a great week. See you next time.